First, voting with your feet, all 4 of them. An Okanagan family takes to horseback for a 50-day trek leading up to Global Peace and Prayer Day.
For me, it started like about 2 years ago when I met this special friend. At that time, it felt like I began a journey, you know, and I made a commitment at that time because of some words that he said about doing the grandfather's work and everybody taking their place and doing what they can to help the people, you know. This is part of it, eh? I don't know where I'm going with it, but it all comes down to really simple things: believing and faith.
Belief and faith has propelled a group of people for 10 years as they work towards spiritual healing among the Sioux and Cheyenne nations, for those whose ancestors were massacred at Wounded Knee in 1890. In 1996, this act of genocide still touches the deeper chords of indigenous psyche as Native American nations across North America respond to a call to take part in a 50-day spiritual horseback ride from Saskatchewan to Wyoming. Eric Mitchell and his wife Chris Marchand of the Okanagan Nation drove cross-country to join the Unity Riders.
The ride itself, they call it Unity Ride 96, and it's a way of bringing Indigenous or First Nation people together. And it's only because of what it's for, the World Peace and Prayer Day, the spiritual need of our Native people and all people in the world. That's the reason I'm going. For me, it really didn't connect until I mentioned it to my wife here, and she was for it 100% because of the spiritual nature of the ride and the purpose of the ride. And really, when it comes down to a nutshell, that's why we're here. Not that we're anybody or not that we're rich or anything, but just because of that. We basically just left home, you know. I don't know when we get back if the rent is going to be paid or the lights are going to be still on or anything, you know, but we left that in the hands of our family there and our people back home.
I did a lot of prayers in preparing myself to strengthen myself to be a part of this, and it's really, really helped me, because if you'd have known me back home, like, this isn't me. You know, camping out all the time, every night, and looking forward to each day and meeting new people. I wouldn't be anywhere else, and I'm really glad that I came, and I'm glad that we decided to bring our son along.
It wasn't until we were packing the truck and loading Shane up that, okay, this is it, you know, and we're here, you know. I have a thing in mind that I need to do, and I'm not going to stop until it's done. The road was so crooked, we run into snow and freezing rain, and our horse didn't have a blanket or nothing. And we were coming through that pass there, and it was still daylight. And this big golden eagle come down, set right in front of us and lifted off, and that helped us keep it going, you know. It was a huge, huge golden eagle. The Creator is there everywhere, and if you pray and you believe in that and have faith and blind faith even, you know, at times, when we got to Wolf Point, got in there about 10 o'clock and got to the farthest eastern motel. So they asked how many people, and I said, well, 2 adults and a 10-year-old and a horse. Then a horse? What are we going to do with that? So he looked at me and scratching his head and said, well, we never had a customer like that before, but he was willing to let us go around the back onto their nice lawn and, let them be there. In my own personal growth, and the horse is always in there. I guess it means freedom, freedom of movement, freedom. In the way they move, like the reason I have this one, the Arab, he's really beautiful to watch when he moves.
Did you tell him where you were taking him?
Yeah, I talked with him a few times, yeah.
So is he ready too?
I hope so. I think he is. I told somebody this morning, I said, we've been sloughing off the last 4 or 5 years, not doing much, so now we got to make up for it.
For 50 days, these riders and their horses were supported by a group of runners, cooks, and family. They ran the open highways, rode when they could, and drove from camp to camp. Every day they set up a camp, and every day they broke camp, doing ceremonies as they traveled, leaving behind any concerns that may take them away from their spiritual purpose. They reached Gray Buffalo Horn Butte, a sacred site to the nations of those lands, on June the 21st, 1996, World Peace and Prayer Day, to be part of a historical ceremony.
I know that I believe more and more in prayer and in the Creator because of all the prayers that I did say, and we're surrounded with so much positive energy that's the big difference between being here and being back home.
Like the last words I heard when we left home was, our culture and our language and all those good things they're not lost. It's the people are lost now. They're right there waiting. I think when I look at our community there and a lot of communities that we know of, we're all kind of the same. Like all the people from here say the same things about their communities, and I know the Okanagans especially, we're free people. If we don't move around, then we get stagnant like the water. We have to break ourselves away from that being stuck in one place and all the politics and everything that goes with keeping you like that, and break away and do things like this, and the free spirit that's in us will come out. For me, I feel really alive here. We need to get out in the mountains, get out to the sacred places, go to the creeks and fish and do those things, Otherwise, we'll become like them puddles again. We'll become stagnant and dead, no spirit.